and the tips kind of got a little chippy. Well, we'll put her in my handy dandy blade holder. I basically want to go just like that. Boom, boom. Tighten her up. We will put this clamp back on here. This is basically the left gauge. We'll loosen this up. Get it to spring back. Then you take your blade and you stick it in the black plastic and you hold this flat against your rest, and then you allow that thing to ride like so, and then you reach up in here and you snug her up. Now that's supposed to be set your depth. Then after that, you have a scale on this side right here, so you loosen these up, and it looks to me like I want to go down on the stone, because right now it says it's that. Lower that down. Nope, still too high. You know what? Okay, that's probably right there. It's like 15 right there. And there's your setup. That's what Tormek. This is a Tormek setup. Even though my unit isn't a Tormek, it's a buck tool. But I bought stuff from Tormek. I bought this rail here, and then the Tormeks are the mounting. These mounters right here are a little bit narrower on a Tormek. So I had to pop the weld here, open it up, set it in here, tack weld it, and then I popped it out and welded it all together, you know, solid. So it basically boom, 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 created my own. You gotta do what you gotta do, you know, make things work. I kind of like this one, this thing here, because it's a variable speed. I can go all the way up to 160. Get that water flowing, or I drop it back down, and I usually run it, you know, or down to 90. 90's there. I usually run it about maybe, I don't know, maybe 100, maybe 99 to 100. Not scaled, so you really don't know. You just have a line, 90 on one side, 160 on the other. So it doesn't really tell you exactly what it is, but I usually go until, you know, I see a little bit of water. I can hear the water moving halfway decent, and then we're good. And now here we go. When I get to the tip, I lift up on the handle a little bit, so that way, so I ride on. I get the tip. Reason B is because it's thinner here and thicker back here. So when you're going across, you know, it's like you gotta lift up a little bit to go with the taper. Okay, let me see, what do we have here? Can you guys see a bevel on that bad boy? Kinda can. You kinda can. Let me see what you got. That's right after the first one, like 2 passes. Oh. Like I said, I've got such a small screen, and with the light here being right directly over top on my left, basically your guys is right, or the other way around, I have no idea. Like I said, I just follow the pool of water. I know where I'm touching, where I'm not touching. And I just follow that pool of water. Try to make sure the water stays flowing evenly across the stone. It's not like here. You can see more water here, less water here. That means the tip's down closer. So yeah, you just basically try to keep that puddle right flowing, nice and easy, all the way across the stone and the blade. I'm thinking about I have to modify. I have to build something because I got a cookie sheet underneath the machine. It kind of helps a little bit, but this is a welding table, and I weld and I do a little bit of everything. So I have to now. I mean, it's turning rusty because of the water. I have to rechange my setup, I guess, and try to get things differently. Cause I'm not liking the whole outcome of this setup. This setup's like, dude, I'm destroying my crap. I work hard for what I got, and I'm not happy with that. It's getting ruined. I watched this YouTube channel. That's one that also kind of inspired me to do this. Is called iSharpen. He's an Australian guy, and when I was watching his video, I mean, I don't know why it just popped up on my YouTube channel. I'm like, So then I started looking, and I'm like, dude, you know what? I have, everybody's like, oh, like I have an Amazon sharpener, the pull through style, the little electric Amazon sharpener, pull through, and I thought at first it was like, oh, this is pretty good, but this is pretty badass, blah 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 blah. Come to find out, every time I turned around, I had to keep sharpening the knife. Every single time I wanted to use my knife to cut, onions and potatoes and freaking carrots and the vegetables and my meat, I was having all these issues. I had to keep sharpening them because it's like, they ain't cutting right. And like I said, I don't know how, but all of a sudden his channel popped up in my thing. I watch a lot of YouTube. So his channel popped up, and I started watching them, and then I'm like, just hearing the grinder, just hearing the freaking him running the blade back and forth across the stone, I'm like, how it's like how relaxing that noise sounds to the ear. So I'm like, ooh, and then I was like impressed at how well, he was getting his edges and sharpening on it. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to change my sharpening setup, and I'm going to freaking see how much they are. Dude, this unit right here on Amazon, I believe, it was like $200 and something, maybe $3 something. I can't really remember. And he was telling, he was saying, how his, the Tormek was like, a couple $1,000, and I'm like, well, if it's a couple $1,000, I'm not going to invest into that, because that's way too much money to use. So I'm like, well, let me look and see what I can find. I bought this one because of the whetstone sharpening, but I also bought it because it's variable speed and it's directional. So when I first started grinding, I don't know if maybe I had a few videos of me doing it. I think so. I was grinding here, and then I basically, you know, with a Tormek, you gotta spin the unit around, and then you can basically hone. You want this to go the opposite direction than what this is doing. Like, this is going in here. This is basically going against the blade and sharpening on the rotation. It's backwards. It's going counterclockwise. No, it's going clockwise. Okay, this is going clockwise. Look at it. It's going clockwise. So, and then, so basically you want this to go counterclockwise when you're trying to remove that burr. And this is basically just like a leather strap, leather, you know, honer. And then you put a little bit of compound on it. And it's supposed to help, you know, get rid of that burr, that burr that's there. And you keep doing it until the burr's completely gone. You know, you can see it where he drakes his nut and thing and runs it across his nail, and it's supposed to be buttery soft, blah, blah, blah. Well, I do it, you know, so I was doing it with that for a while. And then I watched another video of somebody else doing whatever, and they were using the multi-disc, which you probably seen earlier in the video, is the leather thing. And I have that on my bench grinder, which I think that revolution's turning like hella faster. And the what do you call it? The start freaking solenoid or a capacitor in that grinder, it went on the fritz. So I'm like, all right, whatever. I just spin it up with my hand, and it's easier, and it'll you know, it'll start turning in the direction you want it to turn. Like originally, that was set up to turn towards you, so it was like pulling down, and then I would have to go like that. So I said, well, after the capacitor blew in it, I'm able to spin it the opposite direction, and she'll take off, and she'll do exactly what the direction you want it to go. So I'm like, well, that's cool. So I use that to do my deburring, and it gets rid of that burr really quick, and it gets really nice, fine, sharp edge, like really, you know, micro sharpens the edge. It also kind of like shines up the metal a little bit in the same aspect. I just think it kind of looks more professional, because usually this right here, when you're doing it, it leaves a toothy aspect to the blade, to the edge. You can see the grindage marks, you know, the stripage. So with running it on that honer over there, the belt, you know, the leather pieces, it shines it all up. Makes it really look like, wow, a polished look. Yeah, like I said, it's just memorizing, going back and forth, taking my time, you know, making sure everything looks uniform. You know, you want to try to make sure everything's uniform on your setup. You don't want to, like, you know, you want to have constant evenness across your stone. You don't want to have, like, try to put, you know, one more pressure on one side than the other. You just want everything looking perfectly fine. And usually you can tell, you know, if your apex is going like this, or if it's going straight on a diamond, you know, straight on a diamond, or if it's offset a little bit, like one side's in more than the other, is by how much of a shine you have along that edge. The more the thicker the shine is, that means you got more grindage on that side than the opposite side. So you want to try to make them both even, and then by doing that, you're actually bringing that to a point instead of one side being in more or out more. And then it's basically, because a lot of times, when homeowners, they sharpen their knives, either they're running it through a whetstone or like the flat stone where they're going like this, and then they flip it over, they do that, and then they might end up, not losing count when they're doing it, the counting, or whatever, and they might, whatever, screw up, and they're like, oh, well, it's good enough for them, I got the edge, I got the freaking whatever, perfectly fine. So then when, and then they're like, okay, let me try this guy, let me see what he can do. And I get in the knife, and I'm sitting there back and forth, what the heck's going on, why is it taking forever for me to get that burr or get the freaking that apex freaking straightened out? Because I'm sitting there and I'm thinking it's one way or the other, and so I'm counting my strokes as I'm doing my thing, and I look and I'm like, why does this side look thicker or shallower than the other side? And I come to find out that's the reason why. The reason why is because the original sharpening from the homeowner was done not right, not incorrect. So he already had a misconstrued bevel on the stone, on the blade already, and whatnot. Because usually when you get them from the store, they got the perfect edge on both sides, the bevel's on both sides, and you can tell, boom, boom, boom. So yeah, you just basically look at that side there, look for the reflection off the light with the water reflection, and you go down through and you're verifying, okay, that's like that, and by eye, then you come over here, you do the same thing, they look even, and then you feel down through and see if you got the burr all the way, and you do, you're good to go. It's even on both sides, boom, boom, boom. So now, what do? Take it out of my clamp. I go over, I readjust my camera so you guys can see exactly what I'm doing. Hi, how are you? And then I zoom it all the way over, readjust the camera, bring it over, boom, boom, boom. And yes, I know sometimes I'm probably standing in your way when I'm over there, because I don't really look back at the camera to verify if I'm in your view. But like I said, boom, see how it's not doing anything? Spin it out. Also, here's another freaking tip for you. Everybody's like, oh, you gotta keep it, don't get your blade too hot. Okay, you wash it in your sink, right? Most hot water coming out of your sink is right around 120, 140 if you have it set up higher, like I do. My tank, I want my water to be hot coming out of my tank. So, my faucet. So I have my hot water tank turned up to 140. And the water coming out of there, it hits the blade. You're basically taking and using the hot water to sterilize your blade, right? So here's the thing I look at it. If this is hot, and you wash your hands in that hot water or wash dishes with that hot water, you can tell the difference. You can tell if your blade is getting over 100 degrees. So light, warm temperatures, if you can still touch it, it's not that bad. You don't want to sit there and basically turn it purple or blue. You just want to basically... Oh, you guys fell down. Sorry about that, guys. I mean, evidently there's vibration going on in here. What the heck, yo? What the heck? A little bit of vibration going down around in this joint. What the heck happened here? The whole thing got twisted. Everything got twisted. Let me freaking fix you. Evidently, there must be vibration going on around this joint. I don't know. Everything's not going right for me. I'm all screwed up. I'm all discombobulated. Ay, 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 ay. Spare with me, dude. I'll hit you back in the car, I think. Camera's all discombobulated a little bit here. It is what it is, I suppose. Everything's working. Everything's funky. Everything's just going wire on me. So then I look to see, like I said, I usually take and run my hand, my thumb, just on the back side, looking and seeing I can feel that burr. Maybe you can feel it. You know, if you just lightly do it, you know, you've got all your fibers in your skin are open pores. Okay, everything in your skin is open. And if you just lightly do your thumb or your finger across, you can feel a burr. If you don't feel a burr, then basically you're done. And you just I usually take my thumb and I run it back the other way across it. I can feel it grabbing on every little fiber of my thumb. It tells me that thing is super sharp. It's done. It's basically a done deal. Done setup. So then, I go back over here, bring it back down, zoom back out. Okay, just like that. That thing is basically done. So then I take my alcohol, I clean the blade, get it all nice and clean. And then I take a cleaner rag right here, and I just run my thumb down the opposite direction of the sharp edge. That way, so it's not going to cut me. And boom, one edge down. Do the opposite, come over here, do the opposite side. Basically do again, re-alcohol it, get all that freaking that gel off. You basically do the same thing on this side. Take your blade, your rag, and you go against the sharp edge. You're not going to cut yourself. If you freaking pull this way against the blade, yeah, you'll probably cut your rag, you'll cut you, and that's a no bueno. You don't want to do that. That'll hurt like a son of a gun. Like that. Boom, 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 boom. And then you could do the paper thing again. Where you take your piece of paper, you go right here, just like so, and it's like butter, 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 butter. That thing is super sharp. That edge right there will be on this blade for at least a month. For the average homeowner. If you're in a regular kitchen aspect where you're cooking them all day long, it might last a couple weeks. But if you're at a average homeowner doing 2-3 meals a day, and you're doing a lot of cutting of vegetables and a lot of cutting of meat and stuff, and chicken, this will last. A regular homeowner probably a month, maybe longer, maybe less. It all depends. If there's, some people think that, you have to cut through the bone. Well, they have butcher knives for that. Use the proper knife for the proper freaking cutting aspect. But these things here are designed for meat, vegetables, and that's it. If you're gonna want to do chicken legs and chicken wings and chicken breast, and you're basically buying the whole bird, and you're gonna freaking take there and cut that spine and cut all this aspect of it, and you're just basically just gonna dull it. So the butcher knives, those butchers, what do you call them? Yeah, the butcher. Those freaking things are thicker, and they're more blunt, and they got more weight behind them, and with the proper edge on them, you will cut right straight through without ruining that blade. Anyway, guys, that's done. I'm done with my knives, and I will make another video when I get more. I'm basically starting this little side project or side thing, trying to